Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? For years, social media marketing felt like this unstoppable train. Always more platforms, more spending.
Right. Always got to be there, got to invest more.
Exactly. But lately, I don't know, it feels like maybe the brakes are being tapped a little. There's a bit of a different buzz.
You're definitely onto something. We've been digging into this Harvard Business Review piece, actually. It's called Why Marketers Are Spending Less on Social Media.
Okay, that title definitely cuts straight to it. Spending less. Because honestly, social still feels huge, right? So
Yeah.
what's the main takeaway? The big headline from HBR?
The core finding is pretty stark, actually. U.S. marketing leaders, they're putting less budget into social than they have in 7 years.
Of in years, wow.
Yeah. This CMO survey they mentioned, it's biannual, pretty respected. The spring 2024 one found social media spend dropped to just 11%.
11%. Okay, what was it before?
Well, it was 17% just the year before, spring 2023. And remember, the pandemic peak, June 2020, it hit 23% then.
23 down to 11. That's a significant shift.
Definitely signals a change in thinking.
So our mission for this deep dive then is to unpack why. Why is this happening? And crucially, what does it mean if you actually work in social media? Is it, time to panic?
Well, maybe not panic just yet.
And then looking forward, what should social media pros be focusing on now based on what HBR is suggesting?
Exactly. And just for context, this HBR analysis pulls from that spring 2024 CMO survey. They talked to 292 top marketing leaders in the US. So it's a solid snapshot.
All right, let's get into the why then. What are the big reasons HBR points to for marketers pulling back on those social media dollars?
There are a few key things going on, and they kind of feed into each other. First off, the space is just incredibly cluttered now.
No kidding.
Think about the sheer volume of ads. Like Meta's ad revenue, it went from roughly $40 billion back in 2017 to over, what, $113 billion in 2022?
Whoa.
That's just so much more noise to cut through. Makes it way harder to get anyone's attention.
Right. It's like everyone's shouting louder and louder in the same room. What else?
Well, tied to that is consumer overwhelm. Social media fatigue is real. People feel bombarded.
Hmm.
And, the average person in the US is apparently on something like 7 different social platforms.
7. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to keep up with.
Exactly. So attention is fragmented. It's tough for any single message to really land effectively.
Okay, so more clutter. The audience is feeling kind of burned out. That naturally leads to the next point, right? Like, is the spending actually worth it? The lack of desired gains.
Precisely. The CMO survey has tracked this for a while, how marketers rate social media's contribution to company performance. And honestly, it's been pretty lukewarm, consistently hovering around 3.5 out of 7.
Only 3.5. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement.
Not really. There was a small bump during the pandemic, but overall, the perceived ROI hasn't been amazing. And maybe, just maybe, expectations were set a bit too high initially.
Interesting thought. Overpromising what social could deliver immediately.
Could be part of it. Which leads right into the next big challenge, attribution. Proving that link.
Ah, yes. The age-old marketing problem. How do you prove that tweet or that TikTok actually led to a sale? Especially when people see ads everywhere.
Exactly. It's super tough in a multi-channel world. And get this, the HBR article says a full third of marketing leaders basically admit, yeah, we haven't been able to show the impacts yet.
1/3.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money flying around without clear proof of return.
It makes it hard to argue for bigger budgets.
Definitely. What else did HBR flag? Something about social not quite aligning with the overall strategy.
Yeah, that's a really crucial point. Some leaders feel social media efforts can get lost in just making cool creative stuff,
Fun videos, yeah.
but maybe lose sight of the core brand message or the main marketing goals. The survey rated the alignment between social activities and the broader marketing strategy at only 4.6 out of 7.
Okay, so not terrible, but not fully integrated either. Like it's operating a bit on its own island sometimes.
Kind of, yeah. It suggests there's room to connect it better to the bigger business objectives.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned something earlier that surprised me a bit, competition from retail media. How does that fit in?
This is a really big one, actually. Retail media networks think ads on Amazon, Walmart.com, Target site, places like that.
Right, like sponsored products.
Exactly, but it's expanding beyond just that. That market is already worth like $125.7 billion.
Zubian.
Yeah, and it's expected to get bigger than TV ad spend by 2028.
Wow.
And it's not just about driving immediate sales anymore. They're moving into brand awareness, kind of upper funnel stuff, which directly competes with where social media often plays.
So brands can reach people closer to the actual point of purchase, or at least serious consideration, on those retail sites.
Precisely. It's a powerful alternative for ad dollars.
Okay, that's a huge competitive pressure. And the last point from HBR on the why, something about overly optimistic projections.
Right. It seems marketers have historically been, well, a bit too bullish about future social spending. Their 5-year projections, on average, they've been like 66% higher than what they actually end up spending. Even the 1-year forecasts are usually 21% higher.
So they keep thinking they'll spend way more on social than they actually do.
Kind of looks that way. HBR suggests this pattern might lead to a bit of a reality check when those high hopes aren't met, causing them to adjust actual spending downwards.
Okay, so summing up the why, it's crowded, consumers are tired, ROI is hard to prove, and maybe hasn't been stellar. It's not always tied tightly to strategy. Retail media is booming, and maybe past projections were just too high. That's a lot.
It really is. It paints a complex picture.
Which brings us to the really critical question for a lot of listeners, I bet. If you work in social media, is this trend a major risk? Should practitioners be worried?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And the HBR analysis offers some important nuance here. It's not saying social media is dead or irrelevant. Far from it.
Okay, that's good to hear.
It emphasizes this is more of a shift in spending and focus, not necessarily ditching social altogether. Remember why social got so big?
The reach, the engagement.
Exactly. Billions of daily users, people are still willing to engage. It's immediate. The reach is huge. Those core strengths haven't vanished.
Right. People still spend hours scrolling.
So the challenges, the clutter, the attribution issues, HBR frames them more as, well, as opportunities. Opportunities for social media pros to adapt, get smarter, and really demonstrate the value they bring.
So less about justifying existence, more about proving impact in new ways.
Pretty much. It's about evolving the practice, not abandoning it.
Okay, that perspective makes sense. It's still a vital channel. So if the game is changing, what should marketers and social practitioners actually do? What does HBR recommend focusing on now?
Right. The what next. This is where it gets actionable.
Let's hear it. What are the key recommendations?
Okay, first up, leverage large language models, LLMs, more effectively for content.
AI content creation.
Yeah. Apparently, only about 25–30% of companies are really using LLMs specifically for social content right now. HBR sees a big opportunity there to create content more efficiently, at scale, maybe free up human teams for more strategic thinking.
As long as it fits the brand and doesn't sound robotic, I guess.
Absolutely. Strategy and quality still matter, but it's a tool to explore for efficiency.
Okay, use LLMs more. What else?
Better integration across channels. This is a big one. The CMO survey shows marketers consistently struggle here. Ratings for integrating customer data across purchasing, comms, social media, stuck around 3.5 to 3.8 out of 7 for ages.
Yeah, that's a high-low problem.
Totally. HBR suggests investing in things like customer data platform, CDPs. Basically, tech that pulls all your customer interaction data together.
So you get that single view of the customer, see how social fits with email, website visits, everything.
Exactly. A holistic view. That allows for smarter targeting, better personalization, including on social.
Makes total sense. What's recommendation number 3?
Think beyond just sales. Use social media for broader growth. Right now, fewer than 20% of companies use social to, say, improve their products based on feedback, or spot new market opportunities, or even connect with totally new customer groups.
So using social listening for actual R&D or market intelligence.
Precisely. It's a goldmine of insights if you use it that way, not just as a broadcast channel. It builds deeper engagement, longer-term value.
Interesting shift. Use social for innovation, not just promotion.
Got it.
What else?
Benchmark against the winners. HBR notes that certain sectors seem to do better with social B2C, pure internet companies, communications, media, consumer services, education.
So learn from those who are getting above average results.
Yeah. See what they're doing differently, what strategies are working in those spaces. Always smart to learn from success.
Good advice. Now, given the clutter we talked about, how do you actually stand out?
Get creative. Seriously creative. HBR points to the Dunkin' campaign with Charli D'Amelio.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Massive. Sold tons of drinks, boosted app downloads, created a real cultural moment. It shows you need campaigns that don't just advertise but genuinely grab attention and resonate.
Standout ideas are key. What about reacting to things happening in real time?
Huge value there. improvise for relevance. The article loved the Lego example. Remember when the Tesla Cybertruck window broke during the demo?
Vaguely, yeah.
Lego immediately tweeted a picture of a single Lego brick on Reels saying, "Guaranteed shatterproof."
Huh. Okay, that's brilliant.
Right. It got massive engagement, 28,500 retweets or something. It was timely, funny, unexpected. That kind of agility is powerful.
Being quick and clever. Love it.
Yeah.
So what about influencers? HBR had thoughts there too.
Yeah, they noted that influencer marketing's contribution is often rated kind of low, like 2.4 out of 7.
Ouch.
Their advice: maybe shift focus away from just chasing huge macro influencers. Look more at micro influencers.
Smaller account.
Yeah, people with smaller but really passionate, engaged niche followings. The connection might be more authentic, more valuable than just sheer numbers. Less bidding wars, more genuine collaboration.
Quality over quantity in terms of followers. Makes sense. And the final recommendation.
This one's internal. Train your teams better, especially on customer insights from social. Most companies, like 88.5%, handle social media in-house. But guess how much of the marketing training budget goes towards skilling those teams up on analyzing social data, understanding customers better?
I'm guessing
Not much.
barely anything, like 4%.
Wow. So you have in-house teams managing this key channel, but aren't investing much in making them better at it.
Seems like a big missed opportunity, right? To upskill those teams, help them translate social data into actionable insights.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's wrap this up. This HBR analysis basically says social spending is adjusting down because of clutter, fatigue, attribution issues, competition, strategy gaps, a whole host of reasons.
Right. It's a complex mix. But social media isn't going away.
Yeah.
It's still vital. The key is to be smarter, more strategic.
Exactly. Use tools like LLMs, integrate data better with CDPs, use social for growth beyond just sales, get really creative, be agile, find the right influencers, and crucially, train your people.
So it's less about a crisis, more about an evolution, a call to adapt and really prove the value in more sophisticated ways.
That sums it up perfectly. It's about understanding its strategic place in the bigger picture and making the most of what makes it unique.
This has been super insightful, really grounding the conversation in that HBR data. It definitely feels like the landscape is shifting, but maybe towards something more mature, more focused.
That could be a good way to put it. More strategic maturity, hopefully.
Which leads us nicely to our final thought for you, the listener. Given everything we've talked about, the spending shifts, the challenges, but also these opportunities outlined by HBR, what fundamental assumptions might you need to rethink about your own social media marketing to really succeed in this changing environment?
Yeah, what needs a fresh look in your playbook? Something to chew on.